2026 is almost here, and next year I want to start learning a new language because this is one of the most exciting things I can imagine doing in a new year. And for me, it's the resolution I always make. And yeah, it's just the feeling of doing something entirely new, of imagining yourself a year from now suddenly understanding sentences in a language that once sounded completely foreign to you. I've been through this process quite a few times now, and every time it has been deeply rewarding. The steady progress, the small moments of understanding, the hidden breakthroughs in the back of your mind that you don't even realize you're making while learning. It can be an incredible rush, and the wonderful thing is that by the end of next year, you've achieved something that will stay with you, hopefully, for the rest of your life. And when I look back on the past few years, I can tell you exactly which year is linked to which language in my life. So 2022, it was Turkish. 2024, it was Russian, and 2025, it has been Dutch. So the question remains, which language will it be in 2026? There are 4 languages I'm genuinely interested in, and I still can't decide yet. So let me take you through it. First one is Swedish. I want to learn one Nordic language, and for some reason this has to be Swedish. I just love the way this language sounds. And another reason that I have is that one of my biggest role models in language learning is Iclal. Famous Iclal, who has a very well-known YouTube channel, and she's basically the queen of the so-called polyglots. I admire Iclal so much, and one of my long-term goals is to learn all the languages that she is learning. Except for Finnish. I won't learn Finnish now. And so far I'm doing pretty well, but Swedish and Spanish are still missing from the list of languages she is speaking. And this might seem like a weird reason, but for me it is completely legit to have a role model and to copy them. The second language on my list is Spanish. I already speak Italian and French, so learning Spanish would be the logical next step. And that said, I don't really believe that any language is easy. Every language has its complexity. When people, for example, say, learning Italian is so easy, I completely don't agree. I think Italian has its intricacies. Still, Spanish makes a lot of sense for me. It is spoken in so many countries, and it would be incredibly useful and maybe easier to learn for me than other languages. And I do feel that my Italian at this point has reached a level where it is finally safe for me to learn Spanish. The third option is Czech. This might seem an unusual choice, but for once I don't really only want to study the very obvious languages. And yeah, I work at an opera house, so there are only a handful of major opera languages. So there is Italian, French, German, Russian, English for most modern musicals, and then there is Czech. And that's essentially it. So there are also a few operas in Finnish and Swedish and Polish and other languages, but these 6 dominate the repertoire. And Czech is especially interesting to me because of composers like Janáček or Dvořák. I love Jenůfa, I love Rusalka. These operas are so incredibly beautiful, and I would love to understand them in their original language. So at some point in my life, I'm definitely going to learn Czech, but I do, however, believe that first my Russian should be very, very solid. And this is also one of my clear goals for 2026 to take my Russian to the next level. And my final and fourth option is Korean. I want to learn at least one language that is considered truly difficult. And for English speakers, that are usually Arabic or Cantonese or Mandarin or Japanese or Korean. These are all in the category 4, I think. And from all of those, Korean is the one that appeals the most to me. First, the writing system is actually quite logical and relatively easy to learn. Second, Korean is an agglutinative language like Turkish, and that might help me, give me a small advantage, I don't know. And finally, I do know a few Koreans from work. There are fantastic Korean opera singers everywhere. And without wanting to generalize, I believe that Koreans are just pretty much the coolest people ever. They're so funny. They have a great sense of humor. They're also very polite, very intelligent, very hardworking people. And I think that must be rooted deeply in their culture. And I would love to understand it better through the language. So these are my 4 choices, my 4 options. I already know, though, that I won't start a new language in January. I simply won't have the time. I will be basically glued to my desk at work for the next 5 months. And I'm a very much all or nothing person. And when it comes to language learning, I think I need to be fully committed, at least for the first 3 or 4 months. And I'm thinking to learn the new language, to start learning the new language in June, and then have June and July and August. I will have August completely off work this year, and then really go all in on the new language. This is where I'm at right now. 4 languages, 4 very, very, very different decisions and paths to make. And yeah, I have to make the decision so soon. And let me know which language you think I should learn and the language you are committing to in 2026 yourself. And who knows, maybe in a few months from now, we will be starting to learn a new language together. Thanks for watching, and I see you next year. Bye.